Hi all. Good to see you. Not too many people. Welcome to the Dutch panel session about the Dutch affiliate industry with our panel session members. And my name is Jochem Vroom. I'm from Imboel. We are an international voucher publisher, and in the Netherlands we also blog a lot about affiliate marketing. Jessica, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Jessica Haagmans, and working as a managing director for Affiliate in the Netherlands. We are one of the leading networks in Europe. I'm working there for about a year now, and in my past I have a broad experience in media, in both print and television and internet from the early beginnings already.
Okay. Lennart Ruigrok, e-commerce manager at V-Models, a Dutch fashion retailer. Before I made the transition to fashion, I was in the telecom. I worked at T-Mobile, where I was part of the e-commerce department. And that's basically who I am and what I'm doing.
I'm Stijn Kruijsen, been an affiliate since 2002. Started with a loyalty program back then. Nowadays I'm more focused on online fashion, both as an affiliate as a retailer as well. I have some own web shops as well.
I'm Jan Willem Bobbink. I'm International SEO Manager for Internet Advantage. We basically do visibility campaigns for big brands throughout Europe. And besides that, I'm a publisher too.
Okay. First a question to the audience. Who in the audience is not Dutch? I'm wondering. Yeah, that's big. Otherwise we could have done it in Dutch, but would have been quite hard. All Dutchies. To start out, I have a few statistics about the Dutch market. The first one is from the affiliate marketing IAB expenditure 2012 research, and it's about the market that's grown 3.3% in the Netherlands to about 130 million. And compared to the UK, in the UK it's around 1 billion, I think, 900 million or something. But it's a lot smaller, but it has grown a bit. And I'm wondering, what do you think about the small growth? It's gone down from double digits to single digits. How do you see it evolving?
I think that, first of all, we have to be aware that the statistics are not 100% proof, so it isn't average direction. So yes, I believe it is less last year than double digit. But if you look forward to the future, you see that there are still a lot of products which are not shopped online. If you compare the Netherlands to, for example, the UK, about 10% of the products are brought online right now in the Netherlands, compared to 25%, something like that in the UK, in certain categories. So we still have a long way to go the coming years, and that's also predicted. So I think that we're really seeing more growth in the future. You also see the effect of the economical situation, where people do cut down on budgets as a consumer, but also as spending on general on advertising and also on affiliate marketing. So I also believe that hopefully very soon, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be next year, the economic growth coming back, but that will have an effect as well. And I believe we're really going to see more growth in the future.
You think as well, Stijn?
Yeah, I agree. I think in this numbers there's the lead market as well, so like sweepstakes, loans and stuff, and that market that dropped down last few years. So I think there will be more growth in the future because you see cost per sale campaigns, real affiliate marketing, what I call it, will still grow, and new markets will come up.
Yeah. So the growth will increase again, probably. One more slide with the statistics is like the mobile part of the deal. The small dark green thing is the mobile market share, which is still very small. And then a good question is mobile the next thing in your point of view?
Yeah, I have an opinion about that. We had a discussion about it earlier. I was at another convention a few weeks ago where the big catchphrase was mobile first. If you're starting in the Netherlands now, you should start with mobile. Well, then the first question you should ask yourself is, how do you define mobile? Is mobile tablet and smartphone, or is mobile purely the mobile phone? Because I define mobile as the smartphone, and as long as we don't have a good payment solution in place in the Netherlands, the smartphone won't take off. So it will be probably a matter of a year or a little bit less maybe. I don't know how fast the development is going, but until we get the payments in place, mobile won't be as big. It will be big as an orientation channel, but it won't be big as an e-commerce channel because the convenience simply isn't there yet. If you put tablet in scope, then it's definitely interesting, but in my business, tablet and desktop, they have a shared interface. If you build a good interface for both, then you should define mobile as purely smartphone, and then mobile first is a beautiful catchphrase, but if you're in the e-commerce business, I should focus on tablet and desktop at this point in time.
But as you're a web shop and a fashion brand, how are you focusing on mobile and on the affiliate part of it? Is it working already? Is the sale being registered from your mobile phone?
On smartphone? From the top of my head, I believe that maybe 1% of all sales is done on a mobile phone now. So there's basically no real focus on it right now.
So we can wait still.
Yeah, I think we're both waiting for one another. Somebody has to take the first step. But I think if the market will evolve, if mobile will evolve and the people will take charge of it, basically, if we see the trend going up, then publishers and me, myself, we will take the development in hand. And I'm building a proper mobile shop as we speak, so I'll be sure I'm ready in about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, because I think that's for publishers. It's really interesting to start right now. I don't think that maybe you, at this moment, can earn a lot more directly with it, but I think it will be there. I know we've been talking about it for years already. Mobile will be the thing this year, but it is going to happen, and I think that we're still lacking a lot of publishers who are active on
definitely look into what Google is doing, and the number of searches in the UK market, for example, next year will be double digits growth. That more users are using a mobile phone just to navigate through the web, and it's important that you optimize your website specifically for mobile users, just to get the first point of attention from the users.
So this is the time already to focus on the mobile thing. You should start developing as an affiliate.
Yeah, but from an e-commerce perspective, I think payment solution is the most important thing. Maybe for the international audience, just a short thing to notice that in the Netherlands, like 90 or 95% of all e-commerce sales is done through Ideal, which is a solution where you can pay directly through your bank account, but you need a tiny thing with you to do the payment. So that's why mobile hasn't lifted off yet, I think, in the Netherlands, and that will be the one that accelerate all the sales through mobile when there's a real good mobile solution for Ideal.
For companies that are interested in coming over to the Netherlands, is Ideal working on a mobile solution to get it working in a better way? Is it coming already?
I know they're working on it, but I haven't seen a demo of it, so I don't know what the specific form will be, but it should be there in something like a year now.
Okay. The last statistics slide is about the decrease of CPL. In the Netherlands, a lot of networks had a few problems with the turnover being a lot of CPL based, and it's decreasing. And you started about it, Stijn. And do you know why it is decreasing, the CPL business in the Netherlands?
I think, like the sales business is just sales. Doesn't matter, the economic situation doesn't matter, but when companies starting cutting budgets, they start with leads, or they start with their branding budgets cutting down, and the lead market as well. So that's basically one important thing.
Okay.
And isn't it also that the quality of the lead sometimes is lagging behind?
Maybe the quality. The quality of the leads is one point, but I think it's even more important how the follow-up of that leads is done. And in Holland, it's pretty poor. I think there's still room for real good call centers who call you right away if you fill in a form and not wait 4 weeks and don't even know which form you filled in. So then no sales basically are done on those kind of leads. So I think there's room for improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and maybe it depends on which KPIs you have on a specific database. I always have a sales KPI. That means I make a business case on every lead campaign I do, and depends on the partner with who I do the lead campaign. That basically determines the quality. But I always make a basic calculation on in let's say if I make a customer life cycle out of it. If I have that customer for about 3 years, how many sales will they probably make? How much did they cost the first time, and how much will they cost in the length of time? I don't have that data right now, so I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you're not looking at it basically only as a sales channel, like I'm doing right now, but if you put a marketing budget on it, because you could do a lot of interesting things with CRM in the long term, and it isn't as sales driven as it is now, CPO could definitely be an interesting channel. But now, if it has a sales KPI and I'm putting it besides all my other channels, the business case just doesn't fit.
Right, and the CPL, the popularity is decreasing among affiliates. Do you think it's also happening in other countries, Jessica? Yeah, Jessica? Is the Netherlands market different in the CPL business than?
I think in general you see differences in all different areas in the different countries, and not specifically in this area.
Okay, let's get to one of the most interesting things that happened in the Netherlands, the cookie laws. We had a crazy thing going on with the cookie laws. Could someone tell us something about that, about the cookie laws?
Well, maybe very briefly. Everybody knows, of course, about the e-privacy directions, and that we have to take care of the privacy of the consumers online. And there is a kind of European direction, and every country has to interpret an own law within a certain moment in time. And the way how it was done in the Netherlands is that, well, I think what you see in the Netherlands a lot of times, probably also in other countries as well, that there was one politician who really wanted to make a kind of remark for himself, that he's very important. So he really took this issue on as being very important and tried to make a law out of it, where a lot of the other politicians didn't know exactly what they were doing. And so it was described in a way that it was hardly impossible to really make it work online, to have all consumers accept the fact that they got a cookie on their computer. So that was, I think, last June. It was a law in the Netherlands, and I think that the last year, I don't know how many millions, 10 millions of euros and attention has been given for a lot of companies to try to adapt to this law. And last year we have been lobbying from the IAB upon a lot of different people to try to really change the law. And about 6 to 8 weeks ago, there is a recommendation from the minister who is now totally changing this law. And especially regarding the affiliate cookie. There is an exception that we are allowed to set the cookie without asking permission from the consumer. So that's a win. On the other hand, that's one part of the law. There's the telecommunication part. Then we have the privacy. I don't know exactly what the English translation is, but it has to do with the individual privacy. And then we still have a lot of issues to cover. So I think the last 12 months, a lot of the companies have been very busy in trying to solve this issue.
And are we safe now with this? Is it a good thing? The Dutch market is free of cookie laws and stuff?
No, I think that we see in general in the future that e-privacy is a very important issue. That will be an important issue for the coming years for all the world. See PRISM, something which is quite actual at this moment. We will keep on looking at how to solve this. And I think there is difference between how to make it work within our own companies and how we also have to look at the individual importance of privacy. So it will be an issue the coming years, and it will keep important. And in the Netherlands, we are not safe, but it's something we should have on the agenda all the time.
Yeah, Willem, do you see this at your clients as well? Are the problems clear for some clients?
Not really, because most of our clients don't know what is happening next.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And
yeah.
yeah, because of because it's our big clients in the Netherlands, for example, they can't take the risk to not implement the law correctly. For example, if you're working with smaller clients or being a small affiliate website, you can take the risk of not implementing the law as it is right now. But being a big company, you will of course be the first one that will get punished about not implementing the law. So we had to deal with some tricky questions from clients, how to deal with it, and how not to destroy the conversion rates at that moment.
Has it decreased now, the work that you have to spend on cookies and privacy? Is it now like, yeah, let's skip it?
I'm with a microphone on stage, so it's difficult to give the real answer. But at the moment, I'm not putting that much focus on it. I mean, you see the politicians, they're realizing what the monster is they created by implementing this law. So they're not even sure how the legislation should be, and they're taking another look at it. And as long as they are taking another look at it and they are not sure, I'm going to put my effort in driving business. And if they finally know what they're going to do, I'm going to implement the right cookie solution. Until that time, I'll just follow that politician on Twitter because he loves to talk about it, and then I'll know how it ends up. But at this moment, it doesn't have any focus for me.
Okay, so you only have to follow one politician on Twitter.
That's basically how it's running right now in the Netherlands. He's the only one who knows a little bit about the technique, and the other ones just follow.
Okay. Okay, and the affiliate networks in the Netherlands. There are becoming less affiliate networks in the Netherlands. There's Affiliate took over Cleaves, and WebGains is not leaving, but they don't have an office in the Netherlands anymore, so you can say it a bit, it's a bit the same as leaving. But what do you think about in the affiliate space in the Netherlands being less players in the affiliate field?
I mean, I think it's more and more about having good technique and stuff, so it's less likely that new small companies will start in the Netherlands. New companies will start. And I think then again, most publishers in Holland, they look to advertisers. So which advertisers are where? And so I don't know if there's any real good space for new, like American networks to go into the Netherlands. They really need good advertisers that aren't in the affiliate market in Holland yet to make business. That's my opinion.
I think there's still quite, if you compare it to our other countries, quite some networks around. I think that there are two options. You're either international, because I think that's really important, or you're really niche. For example, Affiliate for You is totally focusing only on babies and everything surrounding that. And I believe that the real niche, there are absolutely possibilities, or you're international.
But at that stage, do you have the money available to keep up with the latest techniques, for example? As you're being a small company just focusing on one niche, I can imagine the budgets for development, for example, are lower than for the international
that's
networks.
a challenge, absolutely. But I think that because they're so tailored towards one a market, I think there are still a position in there. But I think that yes, I mean, I agree, for development you need quite some money and attention, and I think that's why I primarily believe that international networks will survive and will be there, and the smallers will have a more difficult time, yeah.
To get to know if the for example, you have the Firefox the new version of the Firefox, the tracking changing. As a bigger network, do you see that it's more easy to fix that, and is it for you then easier to get to know fast results on fixing things like that for the Netherlands?
Yes, you see that we are, as a network, really focusing together on trying to, especially like the Firefox again, and we will see that the coming period happening all the time. I don't know whether everybody is aware that the release, the 22nd release, was going to have a pre-blocked third-party cookie in there. So that would mean that we would be hurt, everybody, quite heavily. And then you have the potential to really invest and put all efforts on trying to arrange it in that way that we can solve that issue. And yes, I agree, at that moment it's very difficult if you're a small network to cope with these issues. And for us it's really important to, both obey to the e-privacy legislation, but also in these developments that we are able to cope with that.
And Stan, do you think that there's enough innovation going on in the affiliate space, in the network space?
I think there is.
You're around for quite some time. Since 2002 you're doing affiliate marketing.
Some things changed. But I think there is. Some things can be done faster. Like make sure, like the mobile discussion, make sure that advertisers putting their scripts right and stuff like that. But in general, I think it's quite okay.
Okay. Another point that is also hot in the Netherlands is conversion attribution. It's hot everywhere. There was a session about it here as well in this room. What do you think about how is conversion attribution running in the Netherlands? You're really focusing on it these days. How is it going on, and is it needed?
Yeah, for me it's needed because I want to have a better insight for myself and for allocating my budget, what the added value of all the channels is. But it's very important there that you look at the data in the right way. And there are a lot of good technical solutions that can help you build a good conversion attribution model. But it's basically the formula behind that calculates the results that's important. And it's maybe a little bit of flurry how I'm describing it right now, but the technique is there. Everybody can use it. You should use it to get insight in all the channels and the performance in your channels. But the formula behind it isn't waterproof for me. To make it very concrete, I work with Shop to Market right now. We're doing a pilot with them. It's an excellent tool, but they have a formula. For instance, if somebody comes in with display, if you have a post-view sale, how many hours after that post-view sale do they still get points on that display? And do I agree with that model, how they calculate it? And that's basically the most important thing, because at the end of the day, every channel gets a few points for that sale. And how do I determine which partner gets those points? And that's important for me. And then when I get the insights, then I know better where to shift my budgets. Because now, very simple, AdWords is a very important channel for me, because I do a lot of long tail in the fashion. But maybe, I don't know right now, I should do a little bit more display and retargeting and build a cookie pool and shift more budget that way.
But you talked about Shop to Market. Were there a lot of tools in the Netherlands available for the conversion attribution? Was there a lot of choice for you?
Though now there is. At the moment that I was looking, you had, from the top of my head, you had Conversive and you had Shop to Market. Those were the biggest two. And now Google has, I lost the name, but DoubleClick is getting in there too. And that's a good tool. But you could do it yourself. I mean, my analyst thinks he could do a good job in Universal Analytics, and he doesn't need the extra tools to do it. At the end of the day, if you get the technique right and you have a good formula, you should do it. And if it's Shop to Market, DoubleClick, your own tool, Universal Analytics, it doesn't really matter.
But one question for you, because conversion attribution is one thing, but from an affiliate marketing point of view, are you going to pay affiliates last cookie counts for the next years, or is that going to change?
I think that's something I'm going to have to discuss with my publishers, because I can sit here on stage and say, well, I'm going to change that whole model and everybody's going to get a small piece of that pie when a sale happens, but the one that has the last click will probably sometimes say, well, that's a nice idea, but I did your sale, so I have to come to terms with all my publishers, and I don't know if I'm going to implement it. I want the insights for myself, but my partners have to get on board if I introduce that model, because if I introduce it and half of my important publishers say they don't align with it, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think it will be very difficult, especially because all advertisers have other models and other publishers that are important for them. It's going to be really difficult if each program has another way of doing this.
I agree.
So I still think last cookie counts is not the best, but it's less worse than other.
Yeah, but the question is whether you really value all publishers in the right way. Yes, it's easy, the last cookie counts, and it's not easy to go to conversion attribution in the right way, but I think we are missing now also quite some publishers who are doing a good job, but don't get the last cookie. And I think there are quite some publishers maybe also have been focusing, because that was possible, to get the last cookie, and that was the only focus they had. And I think to really look at the different publishers and value them in the right way, we should at least start the discussion to see how we can make it work. And it's difficult, yeah, fully agree, but I think that it's not 2013 and just we stay like it is, like the last years, because I think we should go forward, and going forward we should look at it.
But is it the job? Whose job is it to get this worked out? You know, is it the advertisers? Should you help the advertiser with the agency support?
It's a combination, I think, because I think the advertiser likes to have it, because exactly what you say, you want to know who is attributing what. So that's something which is important, and I think that the network should look at it as well, because we want to keep all publishers happy, and I don't think it's correct that only the last cookie publishers are happy.
But are we even close to where we want this to be, the conversion attribution in the Netherlands?
No.
Not from my point of view, no.
Very far.
Very far.
First I have to gain insights for myself. I'm getting there. And until that time, I can't do anything with it, because first, we're still learning now.
Yeah, it's a problem of having your data available. And I see a lot of clients, publishers and advertisers starting to doing it right now. But it takes some time to gather all the data together and get it straightened out to see what is actually happening during the customer journey. Especially considering the first point of view of your brand will take place in most cases within Google. That is mostly based on long tail, but after people go to your website, order something, they're going to search for voucher codes, for example. So they will get the last click. But I think you also have to reward the people that take care of your first point of view of your brand. Because that will be the most actual way of how the customer journey is going.
And how do you see it, Jessica? Don't you want to have this control over this attribution model as an affiliate network? Aren't you giving it away to?
No, I think it's a combination, because if you look at the whole online marketing space, and I would like to add the offline marketing space as well, I think we should try to see where everybody is involved, and especially from our advertisers' point of view, you want the effect on all the different channels you're using. So yes, I would love to have the control, because we like to have control, but in essence, I mean, we are a part of the marketing expenditure. And so, yes, we want to be involved, and we should take care of looking at the development for the affiliate marketing. But I believe that it's a much broader spectrum, a much broader amount of people who should be involved. And I think the advertiser, I guess, is the one leading in trying to get that all together.
Okay, and how about the affiliate space, purely for the affiliates in the Netherlands? Is there space for new international affiliates to come to the Netherlands? Is there?
I think in most niches there's space enough, especially considering the fact that the market is still growing. Like Jessica said, there's only 14% of the sales are made online, so there's space enough. Especially fashion is going quite strong. Multiple brands are developing into really known brands within the Netherlands. But for example, going 2 years back when Zalando came to the Netherlands, there was nothing. We see a lot of people starting to do and sell furniture, for example. There are a lot of other niches that still have space left for big players that really know e-commerce, they really know how to set up a good platform, really know how to get into different channels of generating traffic. So I think there's lots of space, especially for foreign brands that are coming over to the Netherlands or coming over to Europe. They already have the leverage of being a big brand, so there's space enough for them, I think.
Is that from an advertiser point of view or affiliates?
Yeah, I think both. And what I see happening a lot in other countries is being creative as a publisher, but also being creative as a brand coming to the Netherlands. And looking to the Dutch affiliate marketing, there are not that many publishers that are really doing creative stuff, for example.
So you think the quality of the international publishers, they have a good chance of getting a lot of market share in the Netherlands if they take it serious?
Yeah, and I think that they have the advantage of already doing it on a certain scale. So it's mostly the case of just copying it. And the Dutch market is not that big that you need to invest enormous amounts of money, for example, to get a certain market share.
Do you need them, those big international new affiliates?
If I speak for myself, at the moment I'm quite pleased with the partners I'm working with, and they're doing a lot of business for me, and they provide added value. At the end of the day, if I get a lot of new guys in that space, it's good because they keep each other sharp and focused. They will get their own level up. But for me, basically one will take a market share from the other. It's only interesting for me if they give me a new audience that my current publishers aren't giving me. If there isn't any added value in the audience they provide, it's fine for me to keep it the way it is, but let's see how it evolves in the next few years.
Have you seen many international affiliates coming into your program? And
just one, and they're doing a nice job. It's Stylight. They operate from Berlin, I believe. They could be a competitor with Fashion Chick, although they work in a little bit different way. They do a lot of traffic through AdWords and bidding on the keywords. But if I see we're working with them for about 2 or 3 months now, and they've grown quite a lot. But I think they have grown quite a lot because there's a big company behind it. They have a big budget, and they can do a lot of AdWords. So yeah. For me, that's an interesting one, but that's really the only one I can mention from the top of my head right now.
And Jessica, you're seeing also a lot of international affiliates coming into Affiliate for sure. But
I think that basically it's still a local business. And I think that's also because, especially when you talk about a niche, you really need a local touch. And I think there is room, there is always room, I think, but we have to be aware of the fact that, like you said, I mean, the Dutch market is relatively small. So, yes, you don't have to spend so much money, otherwise, if you really want to be relevant, you have to put money into it creatively. So I think that especially automated kind of publishers who can roll out very easily have a chance. But if you really want to be specific to the Dutch market, then you have to spend quite some money. So I think there is a challenge for the international publishers. But I think that we will be seeing continuous development, because I think that if you look at 3 years ago, a lot of people thought, well, we have a lot of publishers already, and you keep on seeing developments. But what you do see, I think, that the smaller ones will have it more difficult, and you see a better, stronger growth with the bigger publishers who take over, where you see that they are really investing in also TV campaigns to keep on being relevant, so it's really becoming a very professional game.
And do you expect some international affiliates to come over? In which kind of publishers do you expect to come over soon? Is there some space left in the Dutch market? For example, for a big cashback site or something?
I'm not sure. I don't have very clear idea. What you see, of course, like I said at the beginning as well, each country develops in a very different way. And, until this moment, I don't know, first of all, there should be one who is ready to invest real money. And that's the question at this moment. Are there publishers willing at this moment in time, given the economic circumstance and given the, not the too crowdedness of the market, but there are quite some publishers around, is somebody willing to spend a lot of money to take that place?
I partly disagree. I think the market is pretty crowded, and Dutch affiliates are quite okay in building websites, but nobody's really doing a good job in building a real brand. So I think in almost every niche there's room for a new number one. That's not an invitation to join our market, but I think...
But don't you think you need money?
You need money, of course, but most international affiliates, they have money, or they can raise some money, and maybe Dutch affiliates should do that more as well, and not only bring their own money or their parents' money to start a business, because that's fun for starting. But if you really want to own a market, you should do more. But I think that in the next years we might see some international affiliates that say, okay, Holland is not that big of a market, but when you are a market leader in a niche, you can make some really good money as well, and it's a fun market. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some international affiliates taking over in some niches if the Dutch affiliates don't do a better job in the next few years.
Yeah, but it's basically the consequence of not that many competition for a lot of niches. So you can be a lazy affiliate and still earn a lot of money. And I think looking to, for example, UK market, in every niche there are way ahead of us, and there people that are used to doing business over there know how to deal with certain aspects of the work, and once they copy it to the Netherlands, I will give them a fair chance of being on top of mind with a lot of users.
And for the international publishers interested in the Dutch market, which niches, Jessica, do you think are most interesting for them? Is it like fashion that's hot right now, or is it the travel sector, which is?
I think that I don't have specific niches in mind. I think in general what you say is that there are quite some areas, and then I would also like to recommend the business-to-business area, because there is something where I really feel there are a lot of things to gain, where we don't have a lot of publishers available. And that's not really a niche, it's quite big, but yeah, we have not been focusing as publishers on that area.
And you're part of the fashion niche, which is growing in my eyes. Do you see it growing? Is it too crowded?
The affiliate space?
And the advertiser space?
Yeah, it's getting more crowded, and I believe in about a certain period of time, a maximum of 2 years, I think there will be a very specific cut. There will be a few big parties left there who are going to divide the cake, so to speak. So, and at the moment there are a lot of companies that are trying to get a piece of the pie. Yeah, but it's a difficult market at this moment. If I take this season, for instance, where it was still snowing in March, and we all had our summer stock in our shops, there are a lot of new startups, and it depends on how much capital there's behind that startup. But if you don't have a lot of capital behind that startup, you've had a very rough start now this year. So I think a few of those companies will retreat at the end of the year after, and at the end of the day there are going to be 3 or 4 big ones. They're going to take the pie, and the other ones, maybe they're going to be nice boutiques where 3 or 4 people do the entire company, but there won't be a lot of space left for the other ones. Because if I make it very concrete, Wacom and Zalando combined, they do, and I think you have those figures in the top of your head somewhere, but I think in the fashion, combined they do something about 80 or 85%. And that means it's still a big market and a lot of money in it left. If I can be the number 3 or 4 with our company in, let's say, a few years, I'm going to be very happy, because that's still a lot of money. But there's not a lot left for other competitors. But for instance, Amazon is coming over. I'm very curious what they're going to do, because they're definitely going to make an impact.
If you come in, you have to come in big.
Yeah, that's the only way.
But how about Dutch people are really focused on their own brands. For example, we still have Marktplaats. And eBay bought Marktplaats, but they didn't rebrand it to eBay, just because the fact that Dutch people like Dutch brands. And that's something I think will be a problem for Amazon too, and maybe for other foreign publishers. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to localize your brand to the Dutch market?
Specifically in the fashion, I don't see that problem, because I'm just a store. You go to G-Star for brand experience, but you go to Vimodels to buy a pair of pants. And I don't give a hoot if I buy them at Amazon, if I buy them at Vimodels. At the end of the day, yeah, I'm a store. So for purely the fashion branch, I don't necessarily see it in that way.
But they have to adopt some things. They have to have ideal, of course, and you see conversion really increases if they start doing their product descriptions in Dutch, for example. So that there are things where retailers can gain market. But I think Zalando tells us that Dutch people aren't that much focused on Dutch brand, because they become number 1 in like 6 months or so, just by doing everything very aggressively.
Yeah, but I think they bought their market share, and they didn't slowly grow into the position they are right now. And on the other hand, for big brands that have capital available, can do the same in other niches too. And I think that's the open space in the Dutch market for now.
But I think there is a difference between the brand name and the way how you should localize your content. And I think there, because I really believe that the Dutch people are very familiar with international brands, and they sometimes, hardly I think, are really focusing on the Dutch brand itself. Like, I think Marktplaats is really unique. Like Startpagina, also like why does it still exist? But that's from the past. The first mover advantage, I guess. What is important that the international brands look locally at what they should be doing here. I think there is a challenge.
And for a final question, a final round, which everyone should answer, what do you think is coming? What's going to be the next big thing in the Netherlands? What will be the development to watch for the Dutch affiliate market in the upcoming months or years?
For me, it will be the way of how affiliates can get their traffic. Basically, for most publishers, Google is still number 1 place to gain traffic. But Google is changing a lot, focusing on brands. So a lot of brands are getting better rankings, even without doing any optimization, for example. Because just the fact that they are a brand will make them rank higher, for example. So I think for publishers it will be my advice to think about your strategy, how to get your traffic for the next 5 years, and see how you can divide between different channels of traffic generation.
Get an advantage on your competitors and make sure you're going to be mobile ready tomorrow. Because if your competitors aren't and the payment solution is there, I'm going to work with the ones that are ready, and they're going to drive the business and they're going to get a head start. So first I was saying mobile first. It's not really here in the Netherlands, but you're really going to have to get it in place now if you're a publisher.
You have a point of view?
I think affiliates should focus on what they can do, what other parties can do, and I think those are the affiliates that are going to win in the long term. So now you see a lot of copycats going on, a lot of websites basically the same. I think the ones with really unique techniques or able to telling a real story, things like that, those are the ones that are going to win.
And for me, I think it's the additional sales focus, and whether that's through conversion attribution or whatever, but additional sales, and I think mobile still is very important for the coming period.
All right. Well, then we're ready with the questions. Are there any questions from the audience? I have one over here.
Hi, I've two questions. The first one, and I'll try and relate it to the fashion industry. If you're selling global brands within your shops, how difficult then is it for an international reseller to come in and just sell in the Netherlands and use local affiliates or whatever? How much does the language play into this in the Netherlands? Like, how much should they really make the effort to have the local Dutch language and the proper checkout in Dutch? How much does that matter to these sales?
Yes, Stein hinted on it earlier. It's definitely important because if there is any product where you want to have the orientation right online, it's going to be fashion. And you want to have to be able to read the description. You have to understand it. You have to understand what you're buying at the end of the day. And so product descriptions are very important. Having localized payment methods. If you're ASOS just recently, or I think about half a year, they implemented Ideal, and that's going to be a big game changer for them because it's the biggest payment method here. So if you're going to do fashion here, do it proper. Do correct, basically what Stein just said. Do correct product descriptions, use the Dutch payment methods, and get your shop to a Dutch version.
And do you think that relates across most industries, apart from outside of fashion?
Yeah, in my point of view it does, because you're doing orientation, whether it is online or offline. You need to understand what you're buying, and so the information is relevant.
Thank you. Just the last question is on, in terms of the affiliates in the network, the publishers, can you just give us some background to, like, is it primarily voucher code, coupon codes at the top of the chain? Is it any different to the other markets in that sense?
No, there are definitely voucher codes on top of the chain. There are in every market, but they're not just. Sometimes I think we're selling them short, just saying they're a voucher code and they give discount. They do a lot more if I look at my business. But there are big comparison parties up there like Kleding.nl, Fashion Chic. I see you as some kind of Jurkjes.nl. That's a niche in a specific segment. People go there, they have a lot of traffic, they have added value in the way they display the products. Those are the type of partners that make the difference, because they don't only give the product, they give a lot of information around it. So it's basically, the answer to your question is, coupon guys, but price comparison and more price comparison in a fashion scope like Fashion Chic and Jurkjes do it. They don't only give you the product, they give you context, and that's very important.
And Jiska, how about the content publishers? Are they?
From the top of my head, in my top 5, they aren't there. It's Kleding, Actiecode, Fashion Chic. Yeah.
Does it answer your question? Yeah.
Hi. I was wondering whether you could share any numbers or give us an indication of the impact that implementing the stricter version of the cookie law had on e-commerce or performance metrics in general. Any information that could help us fight the case in our countries, because it seems like you have quite a success story on your hands with managing to lobby for it and change the law.
And then you mean the impact
on business, on conversion metrics, on, I don't know, bounce rates?
What we have seen is that a lot of the companies kind of used some language on the site without really asking the consumers to click. I think in general what we have seen that we don't have real figures, to be direct. What we've seen is that we did spend a lot of time not on the business but on solving this, so that did cost business in growth sites figures. And what we have seen is that probably in 6 weeks' time a lot of sites were kind of full of, you have to accept these cookies, otherwise you have to go off. And I think that after 6 to 10 weeks, it was like everybody clicked, and we were just back to normal business. So I don't really have figures, but it costed a lot of money and out of focus time.
It also differs per publisher or per advertiser, because if you're a famous brand and people are familiar with your web shop, they already know you, so they're more easily convinced of clicking, accepting every cookie, because they're already a happy customer. So it's difficult to say, like, conversion decreased with 20%, for example. We've seen it ranging from 5 to 30%. So that, yeah, really a big difference, and it depends on the brand itself.
And there were also a lot who didn't do anything. So the smaller ones, they thought, well, I get away with it, because if someone comes by, well, fine, that will be the big ones. So a lot of the publishers in the affiliate space weren't really, I think, going very fast forward in trying to get permission from the consumers.
Thank you.
And there was a question.
Hi, I'm Louise Verschuren, co-founder of Wisdom Company. It's a question for Jessica. You was saying there were less affiliate networks in the Netherlands, but I missed out the point from the third-party software solutions, which enables advertisers, but also smaller companies, to start their own affiliate tracking software. What's your point of view for that?
Could you maybe, I couldn't fully understand.
Well, you have, like, for instance, Hasselhoffers or Cake or all kinds of third-party solutions which allow advertisers or smaller companies just to start their own affiliate network. And what's your point of view on that?
I think that there are several reasons why you shouldn't do that. First of all, it takes...
But it is happening, of course. So.
Yes, I know, but it's not like I'm... Yeah, of course, I'm here a network. But in general, what you see is that it costs time, and a lot of times you have to make focus for yourself whether you spend your time on. Secondly, what you see is that if you have one person responsible for it, and he or she is sick, goes out, whatever, you have a problem. Then if you look at the knowledge which we have built over the years, and if you see the databases we have with all information where we can help advertisers, and we can also help publishers and advise them, there is a really role for advice and making use of all knowledge for both publishers and advertisers.
So
and there are the very big... Sorry?
You don't see it as a threat in any way, actually?
No, yes, we fully understand that the very big players, they started their own networks and their own program, and that's a logical way of developing. But what you also see is that some of them come back because, I mean, it is a different ball game, and when you have a company, you have to decide for yourself what is priority for me to put focus on. And there are a lot of companies who in the end decide, well, it is important, but I prefer to leave it with those people where it's a daily business and they're really experienced in that.
Thank you.
With the absence of cookies on mobile, how are you doing proper targeting to get proper performance marketing in Netherlands? What are the ways you're using to target the consumer on mobile in absence of cookies so that you can do proper attribution?
I hope you're not asking me that question because I don't have the answer.
I don't know either. It's a technical question. I don't know. If there are solutions are coming, but you know, you just follow them. I don't know.
I think the market has to evolve, and once it's there, we're going to make the technique work. It's going to work, but there's no at this moment there is no real prior for it yet. I think because there are not a lot of transactions done there.
probably Google, and we'll fix it in a few months.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, I think this was it, and thank you.